think about the future of the humanitarian system, where do we see the greatest risks, but also the greatest opportunities?
I see the biggest risk in traditional humanitarianism in fostering dependency of people if we think long-term. We find ourselves with long-term, protracted, fragmented conflicts which are with complex interdependencies of violence, underdevelopment, climate change, building an explosive mix. And this is, of course, too big a problem for one organization to deal with.
Tara, just to come to you to expand a little bit more on the focus of the Council.
So for us, we're really trying to tackle what we think of as that nexus between humanitarian and development. If somebody is going to be in a context for 10, 15 years, how do we start to create tools of resilience such that you can start to lift themselves out of poverty, out of conflict, out of disaster, and into modes of not just personal resilience and personal economic development, but sort of societal, community development, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's how do we start to engage some of the other actors that are engaged in the humanitarian issues, private sector entities. And I'd say the third dimension, if you will, of what our council is really focusing on is the how, which is via infrastructure.
Just thinking about some of the barriers to transformation, what would be the key ones that you would pick out, particularly around access to digital and blended financing as enablers, that we as the Council and others working in the humanitarian system should be focusing on?
Well, look, presiding over a humanitarian organization, I think I look first and foremost at my internal challenges to basically develop the tools, the instruments, the capacities to deal with the new humanitarian system. But for partnering, for developing an economic rationale in order to run those new tools, there we have still barriers to overcome.
I think it comes down to joint tactical implementations in the field. That requires operational processes, it requires commercial agreements, it requires legal sort of integrations. So those are going to be sort of, if we are looking at the longer term point of view, where we want to merge humanitarian or public sector or civil society and private sector, where we want to merge short term and long term, those are some of the barriers that we're really going to have to tackle.